So I watched Saltburn, and here's the thing. Oh no, don't shake it. Never shake them. So Saltburn came out a couple of days ago, and as soon as I saw the thumbnail, I thought, wait, I heard this name before. And I remember watching a couple of YouTubers talking about it, and me being quite intrigued at the time, but nothing else. And I also think that like a couple of clips of this movie went viral on TikTok, and yeah, I can see that. Um, but I knew nothing about this movie. Saltburn. We're all about to lose our minds. Struggling to find his place at Oxford University, student Oliver Quick finds himself drawn into the world of the charming and aristocratic Felix Catton, who invites him to Saltburn, his eccentric family's sprawling estate, for a summer never to be forgotten. Reading that description, I thought it was going to be a movie about, the social class differences and how like maybe a lower class kid gets into prestigious school, forms a relationship of some kind with somewhere like high society, and then this relationship just goes to hell in the worst possible ways, probably with murder or something. And I was, yeah, I'm interested. I'm gonna watch it. This movie is really pretty. But I think that if someone came to me and said, this movie was made in 2005, 2006, I would have believed them. This movie has a very distinctive 2005 indie music scene aesthetic, if that makes sense. The music choices are from 2005 ish too, which I love because it's the music that I listen to, but it's also like weirdly dated in a way. Most of the time, very on the nose, leaving little to interpretation to the audience. The acting is good. I think it could have been great though if the writing wasn't from 2005. I don't know. This movie really feels like a movie that came out 20 years ago. I'm so old. I'm not gonna spoil this movie, but at the end of the video, I'm gonna give you three movie recommendations that I think you should absolutely watch to scratch the itch that this movie leaves you with. I'm gonna talk about one scene.
It's just me and you, mate. I'm the girl who's got agoraphobia, but she's in her room, obviously. What are you reading? I'm reading maths. I'm a genius. I don't even like maths, really. I can just do it in my head, anything. Ask me a sum.
Nah, you're okay.
No, come on.
It's not like I don't believe you.
Please, come on.
No, I believe.
Fucking ask me a sum then!
In this scene, we can see Oliver walking around the dining room looking for a free spot. And he meets Michael. As soon as he meets Michael, I think, okay, he's the lower class kid that is going to befriend Oliver, and later on is going to tell him, aha, I warn you, if you gonna hang with the cool kids, they're gonna throw you away as soon as you're not interested anymore. But then the exchange happened. Michael introduces himself and is the stereotypical, outdated portrayal of someone on the spectrum. He's a genius. He's really good at math, even though he doesn't like it. And it doesn't really understand social cues, like when to talk and when to listen in a conversation. And is really aggressive and creepy and kind of menacing. This scene is quite early in the movie. We don't really know any character that well. We barely know Oliver. But this is the first time that I thought, wait, movie, what are you trying to say to me? When Michael introduces himself, he also throws a line of a girl that couldn't attend because she's agoraphobic. And I think this is like played for laughs. If you don't count Oliver, this is probably the only interactions that we have with the lower class of this movie. It's either played for like creepiness or jokes. So is it the movie saying that we need to aspire to be higher class because the lower class is creepy and or laughable? There's also a line where we see contempt for the higher class, but like it feels more like jealousy or envy. Should we root for anybody in here? Oliver is also like very passive, so it doesn't really like make a stand in this scene. We also have the problem that Michael isn't really a character. It's just an annoyance. Every time that we see Oliver and Michael interact, Oliver is annoyed with the presence of Michael. So they don't develop any kind of relationship or friendship or anything that we like need to cheer for or care for. At the same time, we have though Michael telling Oliver to be careful because the rich kids are gonna throw him off like an old sock as soon as he's not entertaining anymore. But like it falls flat because they don't have any kind of intimacy or nice relationship before that. So it's just like, oh hey, a random guy just passes by and said, wait, don't go out with the rich kids because you know how these things end. So yeah, that fell flat. There's a lot of teasing and build up, but that there's never really a satisfying payoff. I feel my main problem with this movie is that Oliver isn't really a character with motivations. It's more like a compilation of edgy, entertaining behaviors that are quite tantalizing on the screen, but if you think about the story, don't really make sense. So yeah, go watch the 3 movies I'm gonna talk about later. Oh, minus point. There's a scene involving dancing that is again a very outdated stereotypical representation of a certain type of characters. So have fun with that. It's more than love breaks me. Oh, it certainly does. Okay, so 3 movie recommendations that you actually should watch instead of this movie. Well, after this movie, otherwise it's gonna be spoilers for Saltburn. Number 1, Cruel Intention. If you're looking for the psychosexual manipulation, mind game kind of movie, watch Cruel Intentions. It's based off Le Liaison Dangereux. It's fun, intriguing, and sexy. Has its flaws, of course. Number 2, Ready or Not. If you want a cathartic revenge story about eating the rich, watch Ready or Not. It's funny, entertaining, it's action, it's violent, and it doesn't take itself so seriously. I think I'm gonna watch it now. Number 3, the obvious ones, The Talented Mr. Ripley. Saltburn is obviously a remake of The Talented Mr. Ripley, even though I don't think it was marketed this way. If you never watched The Talented Mr. Ripley, you should definitely watch Saltburn first, because otherwise it's gonna spoil the whole movie. But if you've never watched The Talented Mr. Ripley, you should definitely watch that. There are points that are exactly the same. And by exactly, I mean the same words, the same dialogues, and the same dynamics. You kind of have the same cast of characters. I'm gonna give you an example trying to avoid spoilers. Saltburn. We have a scene where Felix is lying on the ground of his room and he's saying, it's so hot. And he's like half naked, he's just in his boxers. Talented Mr. Ripley. Tom Ripley meets Dickie Greenleaf for the first time. Dickie is in his swimwear, half naked, and he's saying, it's so hot. Oh, it's so hot. So maybe that's an Easter egg? I don't know. It's exactly the same. Saltburn, same scene. Felix is lying on the floor, but there's also Oliver sitting on the windowsill doing nothing. Oliver starts tidying up the room because he says like there's some smell or something. and it like buzzes around collecting dirt and garbage and stuff. But Felix is like kind of gets annoyed with his action, so it says to stop because he's not a baby. He can take care of himself. Talented Mr. Ripley. Tom Ripley is in Dickie's room. While they're talking, Tom Ripley starts like tidying the room, and this action gets on Dickie's nerves because something happened, so he's already like quite tense. And he said, "Stop, there's no need to do that right now." And this is just a scene from Saltburn that directly quotes the Talented Mr. Ripley movie. So I would call Saltburn the Talented Mr. Ripley remake because otherwise it kind of goes into plagiarism territory. But also, Talented Mr. Ripley is actually satisfying. So maybe go watch that?